Hello, TCI family and Jonathan's Refuge, all of our faithful followers and friends from around the world. I miss you all. I love you all. It is an honor to be here today. I always say being the Archbishop of this organization is it's almost magical. It's one of the greatest things I do. I lead a lot of companies, and this organization is special to me. I want to tell you, as I always do when we get to the message, today's concept is talking about how do you weather the storms of life. My headquarters is so much chaos here. Right now, there's construction going on. You might hear saws in the background and things. And it's like that 7 days a week almost. Then there's men from the refuge, and they're coming and going and coming and going and coming and doors open, doors closed, doors open, doors closed. Then you got the workers, and there's an orchard that's being put in, and there's a septic system that's being put in, and there's road that has to be added. There's people that have to go to the county. There's permits to file for other things. There's I can continue. Then there's the running of the companies. And there's multiple companies, and you've got seven figures in a couple of these companies that they're moving. And there's accounting, there's legal aspects, the legal department, the running of operations, the managing of it all, transferring monies to pay all the bills, taking the monies and investing them properly to have them for the future, building the homes, figuring out when to pull the trigger and not to pull the trigger. I can go on and on. Then you get to the employees and the team members, and how do you manage the staff, hire the staff, fire the staff, maintain the staff, try to quality check our staff, increase their knowledge, help them set up conferences, hold management rallies, blah, blah, blah. It continues. Just keep going. And you get your executive staff and have to continue to train and manage and um, uplift, bring down, drop up, throw down, all kinds of things. There's all these different, you're dropping from this floor of executives to the team members, back up to this floor, going to the board up here. And every single department of every company and every division is the same thing. You got to go through all the steps, all the processes. So then all of a sudden you're in the, it's like Monday or Tuesday. Oh, let's call it Wednesday. It's the middle of the week afternoon. And then the phone rings and your dad's dead, or your child just died in a car accident, or your boss calls and he says you're fired, or your wife calls and she says, I'm leaving you. How the hell do you deal with that? That's a good question. So let me tell you what most people do. They lose their crap. They lose it. I have a friend who was with him today. His phone rang. He thought he lost his heart, his head. His phone went off from work. He's like, God, people. You run a big project, buddy. You wanted the job. With that new job and the new pay increase comes more responsibility. There's an old saying we use. My father's father said it in a family letter once to his son, who then kept it going. My father to me. To whom much is given, much is required. It's an old scripture. To whom much is given, much is required. We asked for a lot in life. And I remember this year when I was complaining to one of my mentors. This guy makes about he's worth about 7 billion. And when I just lost it for a second. And you know how I just gave you that little rundown, like all these problems? And I was just touching on a few of them, right? I think the day I made this phone call, it was on top of that, they just started my new rounds of meds, the new injections. I travel with a freaking garbage bag almost everywhere I go because you do not know when you're just going to start puking. I was out on a ferry on an ocean cruise to an island a couple hours out, the furthest one out in the San Juan Islands, and myself and one of my best friends and had restaurant this beautiful, very famous seafood restaurant, and I didn't make it, but maybe 15 feet out the front door and had to start puking my guts out. This high end. I mean, it's $100 a plate just for your entree. So it's not something cheap. I had a business meeting there. That's embarrassing. Then you tack on the other heart meds they added to the whole thing. So you got all these meds now, and then I'm just like falling asleep. My staff half awake. I'll literally be sitting there like this. Someone comes over. Hey, Rev, wake up, Bishop. And then all the problems of everything else. I didn't even mention the family problems. How do you deal with it? Well, here's what you don't do. First thing you don't do is you don't react like what I just did. You don't go like, oh my God. It's a phone call. Take it. The chaos of all the people coming, the construction, the bills, the employees, the psychology department of my mental health firm, the labor department of my state working with our corporate office, head executive out of commission, surgeries, his load of weight now back on my plate. I can continue all the hellish stuff. And then it all stops for like 2 seconds, right? And you're sitting there, you're like, oh, the day's over. It's so nice. Just like to enjoy this sunset. And you look in and then you hear something. And it's all the guys coming. And you're just like, you have two options. I can come unglued. God, can't I have a second? Or I can say thank you for all this beautiful stuff. It comes with a price. To whom much is given, much is required. A friend of mine called me this week and they were like, I don't talk to you anymore. I see your stuff on Facebook. I do, reply to it a lot. I notice you never watch my Facebook. And I chuckle and I said, hey, brother, I don't look at anybody's Facebook. I don't. I don't have time to look at Facebook. I post tons of stuff in Facebook and I hit go and I leave. Because anybody who wants to know what's going on, they can look in Facebook. I don't have time to talk to all the people that are involved in my life. I don't have time to answer a lot of calls from my friends who are friends, but they're not in my daily life. And so they're acquaintances. And so you find that the more you take on in life, oh, I want this. I want this company. Give me this much more responsibility. It also means you're going to have to give up certain things. Sometimes I used to like having kind of a schedule, controlling my schedule. I had to walk away from that because I don't have that option anymore. Now, if you want to do something with me, I got staff and people, and everyone calls, you know, Heather, Mr. Tyler, and they'll coordinate it with them. And then I get told where to go. Hey, here's your paper. Here's what you're doing today. All right, cool. Off I go. What's my schedule for the week look like? Hey, can I get an opening for like 30 minutes for myself? Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that. I didn't know I had to schedule a moment for me to get some quiet time. I would complain about that. And I did. And so I complained to my friend, my billionaire buddy. And he just kind of hung up on me. But he said something first. He says, I'm sorry. I remember 6 years ago somebody telling me how they just can't wait to get all this thing up and running. Well, you're up and running. When you're done complaining, give me a call. Click. You know what we call that? Mic drop. We complain. I want a pay raise. I want this job. I want this promotion. We get it. And then we complain. I used to be able to have time off from work. I used to get out of work, come home. You wanted the next promotion. That's the price you pay. People see me and they go, "Oh, you have such a great life." And I say, "Yes, I do. I do." But there's prices to pay. My time is I don't have time to sit and chit chat with every person in my life. And so you sit there and you instantly find yourself looking at time. Most of the things I deal with in my life is about time. How much time does it take to get this interest rate return on an investment? How much time will it take to get this employee trained to be at the level they need to be? How much time do you guys need for us to give you the heads up to get the new contract started? It's all about time. Everything seems to be about time. My old ticker. How much time do I got left? If I have this extra, just this one extra soda, it's zero sugar. It's zero sugar. Yeah, it's zero sugar. But let's read some stuff in here. Listen to this. Carbonated water, caramel color, caramel color, phosphoric acid. Anything with the word acid in it just shouldn't be in your body. Aspartame, Okay. Sodium benzoate preservative. So what are you putting in you as a preservative? Now, funny, it's the same chemical in putting in your body when they embalm them. Caffeine, asfulfame, potassium, artificial flavors, sodium phosphate, and about 6 words that I can't read. It's just a soda. Do you know that the chemicals in there actually take a little bit off your life? It's a bit, just a smidge. It's just a smidge. How important is time to you? If you want more time, stop drinking the soda. Have a water. If you don't care, have your soda. Enjoy yourself. Just don't complain when you're done. It's kind of like people. I have a friend of mine. I'm a big guy. I was huge, but I'm still a big guy. I had a friend of mine. He's a fat guy. He's complaining about how he can't walk. I said, "Shut up. You do not ever get to complain about that." "Yeah, I do. It hurts." I said, "Bro, you're over 400 pounds. That's on you. I watched you go to Taco Bell and shove 8 tacos in your mouth. Your little shoving it in your mouth. Oh, you're so good. 8 tacos. Your stomach only needs that much substance, the size of your fist. That was 2 tacos. You had 6 more than you needed. You're a glutton. You don't care about what happens afterwards. You just want to live for the satisfaction of shoving that food in your mouth. The repercussions are you're a fat ass. And now your legs hurt. And you can't even wipe your own keister. Huh. So whose fault is that? Yours for shoving your little freaking fat little food in your mouth. That was the realization that I had when I was 450 pounds. And then I had that same conversation with my friend. I said, no, you don't have that right. Just like the addict. I have addicts that, come to our mental health firm that I have. And this guy was complaining to me about how the system stinks and how the hospital system stinks and he's probably going to die. It's a slow death. It's something to do with the kidney. And I was like, well, why can't you get a transplant? He says, oh, I'm on the bottom of the list. And I was like, okay, well, hopefully you can get there. And he's like, nope, because I'll always be at the bottom of the list. And I was like, ooh, you were a big drug user. I said, yep. So his actions put him at the end of the list. Why? Because here's what happens, folks. Let's say you have a list of organs that are going to be donated. The people who are addicted to drugs their whole life, they just calculate what's the odds that out of 100 people who are drug addicts are going to maintain and take care of that liver. It's just like the Hollywood guy. There was that one actor who was an alcoholic and he got a new liver and he still kept drinking and he finally died of it. If he could have put down the drink, he'd been alive a lot longer, probably 20 years, they suggest. 20 years. I wonder how the grandkids would have been 20 years later had they had that much time with their grandfather. Oh, that he would have been a great grandfather and even a great great grandfather by the time he died. Interesting. You see what I'm saying? So it's up to you. Why do you want that soda? Why do you want that chaos in your body? Because you want it. Well, people want chaos. So when the storm is all around you and it's chaotic, are you trying to explain to me that you tell people I can't stand this, but yet here's what you do with it? So I was telling you all this stuff about work, physical health, family, all these problems. Every day people wake up. Here's how they start their day. We get up and I have a friend of mine. This person got up. We were in the same facility together, same room, sleeping. Not even a word was spoken yet. And I hear, oh my God, it's going to suck today. And then it hit me. That's what was said the night before. Tomorrow's going to suck. I didn't want to say anything, so I didn't. But I regretted that. What I should have said was, oh, it will. It will suck if you allow it to. You see, when you say it's going to suck, it's going to suck. If you sit in your head and you just say, this is not going to work, it's not going to work. Just think of that for a second. If you're telling yourself it's not going to work and you believe that, then why did you even try? Well, you got to try. No, you don't, because you already said it won't work. So you already failed. So don't expect anything other than a failure. So you're going to do the thing you know is going to fail and expect a different result. Did you know that definition of that is called insanity? There's a whole bunch of you watching this that are insane. I was one of them. I remember the night my dad died just a few months ago. This was, y'all know I had three dads. I call them D1, D2, D3. Birth father, adopted father, my spiritual dad. All three men are now gone. And this was the last of the Mohegans. And he went. I'm still working through it. It's only been a few months. You learn a lot about your heroes when you get older. And sometimes that makes it hard. And so, amidst the news, one of my best friends came and told me. I said, "Oh, wow." And I paused and I was about to lose it. And I internally just grabbed my emotions and I said, "No, I'm not going to lose it. I and I alone control my destiny. I and I alone control my emotions. I don't control, when I say my destiny, I'm referring to the destiny of my emotions because the only thing I control is that it's my emotions, how I react. What is it like? You just told me my dad died. Thousand things are gonna emotions are going through the roof. Pause. Take a breath. He's gone physically. There's nothing you can do. So why allow yourself to spiral? You ever see somebody who loses their best friend and they become an alcoholic or a drug addict? Spouse dies and they just child dies. Oh, that used to be the doctor in our town. What happened to him? He's homeless now. His son died. So there's times that I haven't handled death too well. I remember in prison, I got notice that my son died. One of my sons. I asked everybody, let me rephrase that. I told everybody to leave the house, cell. So they all left. It was a 4-man house. And there's 4 lockers, and I proceeded to punch my locker until their door was mangled and my fists were bloody. Now, if y'all have been in prison, when you have scarred up fingers and blood and all that, first off, you got to go to the hole. They're going to put you in the hole. If you punch something like a locker and get it all banged up, you're going to the hole. When I was making all the noise, the guards came kind of running, and one of my cellies said, he just found out his son died. And I remember Fish and Hall were on duty, and CO Fish and CO Hall, two of the toughest guys in that unit. But they were actually good guys. I got along with them. I like the hard asses. I value a cop that's willing to smack you in the head when you're wrong. I like that. So they left me alone. They didn't even put it in. Next day, they showed up by themselves with the new door and put it on there, so there was no report made. Or else I would have had to go to the hole. But after that, I controlled it. That was the last time I lost it. So when my father passed, I remember I needed to. I didn't wake up and go, "Today's the day my dad's gonna pass, and I'm gonna be able to control my emotions." It's not how it works. It's an ordinary Wednesday. Phone rings. Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, he's dead. What? You know what I mean? It's not like, a lot of times you don't get okay, we've got 6 days. That's nice if you get that. Most of life happens on a Wednesday during a regular time of the day when you're just doing your normal life. All the chaos that comes around comes into us. My dad died. I had all that work stuff going on, had all those department head issues, had all my health issues, had all my family issues, had all my church issues, had all the bishop issues, had the archbishop issues, and the pyramid's getting bigger and bigger of issues, and it's going higher and higher. And I got this, I got it, I got the weight, okay, I got it, guys, I'm good. Yep. Oh yeah, and your dad died. There's 2 options. all the chaos that's going around you, and the nightmare that just dropped on your plate, the bomb that just exploded. Your child died. It's going to put you to the test. It's going to put you to the test when you are least expecting it, in the middle of the afternoon, on a Sunday morning when you're just trying to garden and the phone rings. But again, every time that moment comes, you have two options: to control your emotions or to allow your emotions to control you. And every time your emotions control you, you're not in control of yourself. And that's something I learned from when I went and studied the Buddha teachings. I took my precepts, which is it's kind of like being baptized at a church, right? You go in, and if you go to Catholic, church, you go through catechisms, which is like a Sunday school program, and they teach you the doctrine of Christianity. Well, the Buddha was a man, and he created a philosophy, and his teachings are amazing. Not a religion; it's a belief system. So, in this process of taking my precepts, this nun, they call them nuns, she headed up the monastery. And when she gave me my Buddhist name, it's Thubten Trinley. Thubten is like the last name, and Trinley is my first name. So my Buddha name is Thubten Trinley. So I said, Trinley, that's cool. I like that. And she told me the meanings and things and what all this, and I delved deeper, and I'm always digging deeper. Like, what's next? Why? I always ask that why, next level question. Seventh level. I'm a salesman. Where do you go on vacation? Florida. Why do you go to Florida? We love the weather. Forget all northern, forget all mountains. You zero in. What do you like in Florida? Oh, we love the Keys. We like islands. We like islands. Stay away from main properties on the mainland. Let's look at islands. Ask more questions. Why? 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 Do enough asking and listening, and you'll get the answer to what you need to get what you want, which is a sale. You've got to realize, why do I react like this? You have to break yourself down. A couple of days went by, and I definitely had a lot of crying moments, but it was the first time that I had lost a person I love so much, and I controlled my emotions through the whole cycle of this. And I'm still processing it. I still find myself, you have a moment. Somebody walked by me yesterday at a store, and he smelled like the smell of his cologne. It was the same cologne, but you know how cologne can smell different on people? He had the same smell of the old man. I swear, when he walked past me, I thought the old man was there. Uh, my sister called from his phone like a month after he died. I paid his bills and his phone, the bottom of his phone, I paid his phone. It's my account. So she called. She found out all that stuff was paid for by me. And she's like, "Oh, I'll send the phone back to you." I'm like, "Great." But it was interesting because the phone rang and I look on it and it said my dad. And I'm like, "Well, he's dead. What the?" I wasn't expecting it. It just made you cry. Those things happen. But amidst the storm, I had a choice. I could fall apart or I can hold myself. If you can compose yourself, you're going to be able to think better, faster, and more rationally. And in all of life situations, sorry about that. Cam, I'm in the middle of recording right now. So, sorry, guys. We got a lot of people like that where we're in the middle of a production and I got people that just show up and walk in. And so, again, this is a great example of the message being in the right time. All the chaos, I could have got up, paused, ripped someone's head off. Why? What good does that do? Hey, just raise your voice, let them know what's going on, and let's move on. That's the part of life you don't control. Cam coming to the door. You don't control the building next to yours falling down, taking out your car. You don't control your boss firing you in a lot of respect. You don't control a lot of things. Oh, wait, Actually, you control nothing except how you act from your emotions. I want you to ponder that this week. Next week, we're going to pick this message up. I want a few minutes longer because this is a very important message. People, I get a lot of people say, "Hey, what do people hire you to do a lot?" I think this is the topic that's probably one of my leadership lessons that I get asked about. How do you stand in the midst of chaos and process everything and then be able to make instant decisions and you look calm, cool, and collected? Well, it's a process. So we're going to talk about that process a little more. We've already started it. Next week, let's get into the second phase of things. I love you guys. I really can never say this enough. You control nothing out there. Stop thinking you control anything because you don't. And the older you get, you'll learn that. Next, once you know you don't control anything except for one thing, when something happens to us, we're instantly going to get a reaction: mad, angry, sad. My dad died. It's heartbreaking. Child died. It's heartbreaking. These things come to us. Now we have an emotion in us. What do we do with the emotion? I'm angry. Do I punch the guy? And I didn't know that the guy had a surgery. And when I punched him, I shoved the bone further because he had a surgery. I didn't know the guy had a surgery. And you're going to be saying that to the judge when you're sentenced for manslaughter, all because you couldn't control the emotion. So let's learn how we can control more. Love you guys. God bless. We'll talk next week. If we can figure out where the end stream button is.